Correct form is so important when working out, and when you master it, you're going to be better prepared to advance your routine. So guess what? Out in the freezing cold, Brent Bishop is joining us to help us out.
Here.
Bless you, man. We're going to correct all of the things that your body might be doing the wrong way. And why is this important, B?
Well, I mean, as we know, obviously fitness is beneficial for your strength and overall health. But if you're doing things incorrectly and you have a poor foundation, your injury risk chance goes way up. So we want to make sure that's not happening.
Okay, so for those of us who are jumping off the couch and we want to do this, we do want to encourage them. We just want to encourage folks to do it the right way. What do we need to be thinking about when we're getting into those main movements when you're working out?
Well, Tracy, it's all about starting with the basics, and what better time of year in the beginning of the year to do that, to set that foundation. We have what's called 7 primal movements, and we're born with these movements. They are push, pull, squat, lunge, bend, twist, and gait. So gait referring to crawling, walking, running patterns. But the important thing here is, I mean, you can see little kids, like when your kids were growing up, they can drop into a squat, no problem. They have no limitations. But as we get older, of course, life takes over. We sit more, we move less, and you get these limitations. So we want to make sure you're sticking with the foundations. Make sure you have those down first with proper joint alignment and proper spine alignment. So that's one thing. Next thing is, don't push the load too fast. So increase your reps before you increase your load. That's a great way to make sure you're staying away from injury. I always say this, Tracy, you heard me say this before, train your backside, right? Everything in the backside of your body. You want to alleviate the effects of sitting and all that poor postural positions that we're in. Really important to get the entire backside. 2-to-1 ratio, I always say, double the backside, then training the front, okay? Really important. And then lastly, full range of motion. Instead of doing, partial ranges with your exercises, if you don't have injuries or limitations, try to develop that full range of motion. That strength through full range of motion is going to give you much healthier joints.
Okay, we love to hear it. We love to see it. So let's you and I do it. Let's go through some of the foundational movements and let's check to see if we are doing it correctly. I know you are. We're going to see if people at home and I'm doing it correctly. If you're at home, get off the couch. Come on, stand up. Let's get to our first movement.
And I have a dowel here. You can grab a broomstick. I know you have a hockey stick, Tracy. This is a great feedback tool for proper spine alignment and proper movement. So what I'm going to show you here, you're going to take the dowel. Your top hand is going to be in the small of your neck, okay? Your bottom hand is going to be in the small of the back. So you'll notice here I have 3 points of contact. I have my head, I have my thoracic or mid-back area, and then I have my tailbone, all in contact with the dowel. Now typically when people go into a deadlift or a bent over position, you get a lot of rounding happening. We don't want to do that, and to ensure that you're doing things correctly, keep those 3 points, sink your hips backwards, and allow yourself to hinge forward. So you'll notice, if you can feel all those 3 points of contact throughout that range of motion, guess what? You're doing things correctly. Typically, if you're doing things incorrectly, you're going to notice, look at here, I'm rounding over. My only point of contact is the mid-back. So you want to correct that. Feel those contacts and really practice that movement. And again, you don't need a lot of weight to do this. Use your dowel, set that foundation, and then you can start to add a load, a bar, some dumbbells, but the same principles always apply, okay? So that's your deadlift position, and this kind of flows into many, many different exercises. The next one is a bent over row. Commonly, I see this incorrectly. When people are bending over, again, they're just literally bending over, and you get that C curve in your spine. All that stress is going to your low back. We do not want that. So you want to make sure, again, same position I just talked about. I'm bringing my shoulders back. I'm engaging the low back. I'm sinking into those heels, okay? From that position, then you can go into your row where you're drawing your shoulder blades together without elevation, okay? So think of mid to lower shoulder blades. Squeezing a walnut between your shoulder blades is a good analogy. And really important, as opposed to just pulling, you want to make sure you're getting that scapular retraction. Great for posture. So that's number 2. Number 3 is a lunge. So you'd use the dowel just to allow on the back, just resting lightly on the back or on the neck. This is going to help set your spine in a nice straight position. Now typically, a lot of times lunges are done incorrectly where there's an overstep, so stepping too far and then going forward onto the ball of your foot. Guess what? All that tension goes into the knee joint. So we want to alleviate that by shortening your step, okay? You'll notice that my hip is right above the knee. And then I'm dropping down and I'm sinking my weight in that front heel. Guess what, everybody? If you put pressure in your heel, you're going to get more glute and hamstring engaging and less stress on your knee joint. So that's really what you want to do with a lunge. Shorten that stride a little bit and really focus on driving through that heel. Maybe pause at the bottom. really focus on that positioning, okay? So that's 3 basic movements that you can really set a foundation on. I'm gonna go over a couple more for you. The next one is your standard push-up. Now typically an incorrect position on this, which is a lot of stress to the shoulder joint and also low back, would be hands far forward from your shoulders. So that is incorrect. There's a lot of stress on your shoulder joint. A lot of times you see the back sagging down as well. What we want to do is to set your position, whether you're doing a push-up from the feet or the knees, both very effective. Lie down so that your index finger is about 1 inch from your shoulder, below the shoulder, okay? Your thumbs are at the armpits. From there, you're going to engage your core and your glutes. Exhale and push straight up. So you'll notice my joints are completely stacked. That is a great position to be in. And again, by the way, guys and women, if you can't do a full push-up all the way down from the feet, go to the knees, right? Work on that, or go to an incline. Build up that strength through full range of motion, all right? Last but not least, the plank, one of my favorite exercises. It's a great exercise to do. However, similar idea, if it's done incorrectly, where your elbow is further away from your shoulder, so more ahead of your shoulder, your back's gonna start to sag. Similar idea as the push-up setup. Stack your joints, shoulder above the elbow, okay? From there, feet about shoulder width apart. Now, another important part here is go into a posterior pelvic tilt. I'll just say what that is. Pubic bone to belly button, okay? That's gonna engage your core, alleviate the stress on the low back, and then you also wanna contract the glutes to help stabilize that spine. So once you're in that position where your back is not arching inwards, but you're going into that posterior pelvic tilt, holding that position, relax everything, and just focus on drawing that belly button to the spine, and you have a solid foundation for your plank.
You know what the best thing about that segment was? I basically said nothing.
What's that?
It was so good. Usually I'm huffing and puffing. It's like you did it all.
Or bad thing.
No, I liked it. I liked it a lot.
You know what it is? I'm so freezing cold that I'm just like, I can't feel my fingers, so let me just keep.
Yeah, right? Okay, so hold on. I'm going to do my extra in a plank. Let me do that.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Okay.
Brent.
Should I go into mine?